Good evening. This is the Management Committee meeting of October 13th, 2020. As you probably can tell, we're doing this virtually due to some COVID concerns, and to be safe, we decided to have this remotely. So, Randy, do you want to walk us through our numbers?
Sure. Capital fund total is $208,522. Depreciation fund total is $196,466. Delinquencies as of August 15th were $22,430. As of September 15th, they went up just the fuzz, about $39 to $22,469. Road delinquencies was in August was $3,920, and it went down in September to $3,780. The special assessment account, Popular Bank, we have $101,000, 560. Dam repair checking, there's $118,631 for a total of $220,191.
Thank you, Randy.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to make a short statement on the dam assessment account. I hadn't really had it on the agenda to talk about. I do want to make a couple points. For the month of September, our new member fees were again strong. We took in extra new member fees over and above the $75,000 cap. And so Penny will be making a $19,823 additional principal payment on the principal of the loan. So I also want to make a statement. We disclosed this to the membership in August of 2020 about the dam assessment account being short. In digging in this, I was made aware, and I did acknowledge that I was sent an email in April of 2019 that the office, specifically Penny and the office, thought the dam assessment account was short. I did not follow up on that email and subsequently forgot about it. We didn't follow up I forgot about it. We didn't follow up until August of 2020 when we started seeing the account was short. I dug into it, found out the information was short. So I take ownership of that. I did not do that maliciously. I just completely forgot that I was made aware of that. So that I have to take ownership of that. And I just want to leave that there. Any questions or comments?
No, no, except, well, yeah, a comment. I just want to thank you, Jim, and thank you for your transparency and all the work you've done. And it's hard, I know, staying on top of everything, but I'm really glad that you are here and you are helping. You're a volunteer that puts a lot of time in. So thank you, and thank you for being forthcoming.
Thank you, Linda.
No, Jim, I agree on that too. I understand, this isn't your job. You're a volunteer like the rest of us. Things like that. I mean, I go through emails that I don't even see, even though I look at them. And it's not easy. It really isn't easy. There's a lot of things that come through in the hills that I've seen lately. And do I go to the bottom of each one of them? No, I don't. And, that's my fault. But it's also a learning experience where, I think that I myself have to keep an eye on things also.
Thank you. I just want to make it transparent that I wasn't made aware of that and didn't follow up. And for that, I accept ownership of that mistake. So nothing else. We'll move along. Randy, you want to talk about news and notes?
Yeah, I was asked to contact the Hocking County Wildlife Officer and Chris Dodge, and I played phone tag back and forth a couple times, but I was able to set up a meeting with him for our last meeting, our October 27th meeting. I mean, if we have to do that virtually, I'll have to contact him, but he has agreed to come and talk about the deer population and possible calling, different ways to call the population. So that will be at our meeting on October 27th.
Okay, thank you. I will not be at that meeting. I've asked Steve to run that meeting, and I'm going to try to set it up with Officer Dodge to meet with Steve and possibly Jim Hiles before the meeting. Just take him around the hills, see the number of deer, see some of the damage the deer are doing, and the health of the deer population, so that he can make some informed. I'm hoping that with only 4 of you plus 5, 6, we can have that meeting in person, but we'll play that by ear, depending on how if we have any additional COVID concerns.
Okay.
Spectrum phones.
I think I sent the quote to y'all yesterday. We are going to be able to save a little bit of money with Spectrum. The last bill we received from Valtech was $740.53. Spectrum's monthly charge is going to be $662. Which that's a little bit of a savings. Although we do get, if we sign up by, I think it was the 25th of October, we get the 25th of October, we get the first 3 months at no cost. Now, the other part of this that I'm having them look at is one thing that they didn't include, that we do get some internet connections off of Valtech. So they're looking at that. I don't think that that's going to make any difference, because it doesn't appear that when we shut those internet connections off, that we won't get them automatically from Spectrum. But I'm just checking on that for sure. But I don't know how you want to handle that. I don't know if you had a chance to go over this contract, but it appears to me, I thought we were going to save more than this, but we got a lot of stuff going on with the pool phone. So that's going to be a regular POTS line, a security system that has to call first responders, and then there's going to be several phones upstairs in the kitchen, and so we are not going to save as much as I had hoped. But it will be a savings, and I believe it will be a lot better service than we've got from Frontier, at least here within the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, my biggest question was our phone system seems to go out a lot, and when our phone system goes out at the clubhouse, almost all of our food business right now is call in. So we essentially lose all that business when people they get a busy signal. So do we have any information from Spectrum on what they're guaranteeing for reliability?
Well, it'll be as reliable as the internet is, and so I think they've fixed that down there now, because I've complained about that, and they have said it's because there's so many, because of the bandwidth down there, and I think they have fixed that. So that's just remains to be seen. The other issue was down security, is when we lose phones down to security with Verizon and AT&T. That's always a problem down there too, because people can't get through when there's an issue.
Yeah, and that's another service issue. What's anybody else's thoughts? We all of our phones would be with Spectrum. We wouldn't have all the lines would be Spectrum.
All the business lines.
Business lines.
Business lines. It doesn't have anything to do with your home phone.
No, yeah.
All the business lines would be with Spectrum. All the internet lines will be with Spectrum.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm kidding.
Thanks. I'm going to lick your doorknob. So So, like we see Spectrum on TV, there's always this caveat at the bottom. This is an introductory rate. It will change to this. Randy, how long is this price for?
I don't have that answer to that.
Okay, we need to know that because we want to make sure that we don't get it something good and we're all excited next year it doubles.
Okay.
Yeah, we would want to make sure this is at least probably a 2 to 3 year deal.
I didn't really get a good chance to look at it thoroughly. Randy, by looking at it, are we looking at apples to apples, or are we getting something better and maybe something not as good?
Well, all I can go by is what they're telling me. They're telling me it's going to be a lot better, but I've never dealt with Spectrum phones before, so I don't know.
Is this true voiceover? And they're giving us all the phones, correct?
Yes.
And this
That's
is
the big
true,
thing. It's a system and new phones. That's huge.
Yes. Yes.
This is true voice over internet. A couple questions to ask before we can approve this via email, but what's the term of the agreement? And then what I would like to know is, can you take the phones mobile? Like, so this is a disaster recovery issue. Can you take a phone home and work at home with that phone by just plugging it in the internet? So like net to phone, you could take that phone, pretty much plug it in anywhere, and it'll work like you're sitting in your office. So if we have to deploy the office to work at home because of COVID or any, a disaster, this would give us an additional aspect that you could work at home and still do your job.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
I'll find
definitely
out.
part of this integrated plan, and that's something is, yeah, I've talked to Randall and also Rick. I mean, Rick's using a phone that, well, geez, I don't know. It looks like it's about 50 years old in phone technology. And that's a pretty big expense. And I do know that we can do this voice over internet thing here and possibly give them a better option for communication on a mobile phone line that way. Not to mention the fact of having them mobile any place down here too. So I think that's a big plus if we can get that thrown in, because I'm sure we're paying an additional cell phone bill right now for each of them to have company phones, whoever has those.
I believe Rick, Randall, and Elmer all have
No, it's just Rick and Elmer.
just Rick and Elmer.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this is a good step. I think there's just a couple of questions we need to answer, but I think voice over internet's the way to go just because of the enhanced features in it. Frontier has not serviced us well the last couple of years. When phones go down, they seem to get to it when they want to. So I think this is we'd get better service out of Spectrum, in my opinion. But
I agree.
I think the
as long as
contract
the term
shows
is
a
good.
4-hour response to service calls.
yeah. So okay,
4 days or 4 weeks.
Randy, you still there? He may have dropped off. His internet looked like it got slow. He started spinning. All right.
He doesn't have Spectrum.
He doesn't have Spectrum. Let's bring a roll. Club insurance. I think we're gonna have to wait on Randy to log back in on that one. We can skip down until Randy gets logged back in. Let's skip down to the safe for the chef office. Basically, what we need is a small safe to put the cash drawers in at the end of the night when we close up the lodge. The safe that's in there is pretty ancient. Just walking around Vance's, Pro King, I know we could get a bigger gun type safe with shelves for about $600. That's also fireproof. Randy had sent out a.
I lost service.
You back? Okay, we're just talking about the safe, and then we'll go back up to club insurance. So Have you been able to look at any more safes? I know like Vance's had a safe about as big, but it was taller than the one that was down there for about
Okay.
$600. So it's a
Did it
fire
have
safe.
Did it have shelves? Because
It's
that's the
got
problem I found with the
shelves.
gun shelves. Pardon me?
Yeah, it's got gun shelves. I mean, we could just simply put some wooden shelves in there, but it would be bigger. We could lock more of
Okay.
them in. My problem
I
with
did.
the one you have is just small. That's all you're going to get in there is a few drawers. I didn't know if
Well,
we
that's really all we need to put in there, actually.
should.
I mean, I know JJ asked if we needed a fireproof one, and we don't. It's just that I couldn't find anything that was big enough, and I really didn't have a time to look at a whole lot of stuff. Uh, so that's really, I looked at several. I looked at Harbor Freight; they didn't have anything, and so that's the one I came up with. Now, if you
Well,
found another one from Vance's that's a little bit
well,
bigger for the same price and it does have shelves, yeah, sure, that would be fine.
most of them have gun type shelves, so they're going to have. You might have to take those out and modify them. But I mean, if we don't need fireproof, I know we could get one a lot cheaper than that. It's just basically a gun cabinet. We could
I got a question.
put shelves in it. Yeah.
So we're taking the entire drawer out of the cash register and putting in there. Aren't we doing countdowns of our money? Why don't we do countdowns, pull the money out, store it in a money bag, and then you can get by with a much smaller, better fire safe just to put a money bag in.
Well,
I mean, to me,
it's
the
not only the
countdown should be there either way.
I'm sorry. It's not only the drawer. It's the money box, the lock they use that we put in there also.
I guess I'm not familiar with what's in there then.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
normal
stop
cash
by
register.
one day. I'll show you. Yeah.
All right, Randy, can you set up the exact sizes we need, and then somebody willing to?
Yeah, I had done that.
Oh,
Are those
Um,
interior or exterior numbers?
Those are interior numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, those were interior numbers. Yeah. Exterior, I'm not concerned about. It's just so we can get the stuff in there that we need to get in there.
Are we restricted in any type of space there? Exterior. Can it
No.
be taller? Can it be wider? Can it be shorter?
Yes, it could be taller and wider. We just need to get that old one out of there. The door's ready to fall off. I'm afraid it's going to hurt somebody. And that's what Slater's told us there several years ago, that we need to get rid of that safe.
yeah.
And plus now it's gotten to the point where you can't hardly close it.
If you can resend out the dimensions, is somebody willing to do a little research if we can find one local that's not too far away we can purchase?
I'll take a look.
All right, JJ.
Might also look at fireproof file cabinets.
Yeah, they work too.
And a lot of times you can pick them up used for cheap money.
Yeah, phone's this big enough that we can get whatever we got to put in it. All right.
I've got dimensions right here if you want to write it down, or I can send this. However you want to do that.
Why don't you send it just in case?
Inner height is 19 inches. Inner length is 16 inches. Inner width is 19 inches.
So 16 is depth.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the width then?
19.
19 is the
19
height.
by 19 by 16.
19th height, and 19 width. Now keep in mind that 19th height, that's with a shelf in the center.
Okay.
So you talk about 8 and 8, or 8.5 and 8.5.
But it can be taller?
It could be bigger. Yeah, it could be bigger.
And wider?
Not a whole lot wider. We don't have the space down there for that.
Okay.
Randy, would whatever it is that you store in here fit in a file cabinet drawer?
Should, yes. Yes.
If we get a fireproof file cabinet, I mean they lock. Are there records from the club that could be put into the file cabinet also?
Well, we've got the locked room back there where we put all our files. So I mean, unless the kitchen would want to put something in there, I wouldn't want to keep any club files in there, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so JJ, let us know what you find. We'll see how we can price compare. Randy, you want to back up to club insurance?
Yeah. Linda and I had a WebEx. Well, actually, it was a Zoom discussion with our insurance agent that we've been with for this. Coming up will be the 3rd year, and he determined. And Linda asked him a lot of good questions. He determined that we were at industry standard. We are looking at cyber risk insurance. I just heard back today from our IT people because there was questions on there that had no idea how to answer. So I did hear back from them. So I'll be sending that in here in the next day or so before the end of the week and see if we can't get a quote on cyber insurance. And that would be the only increase.
Yeah. Let me know what that. Let us know what that comes back at as a cost.
Yeah.
It's something I think we need. The more and more we get into electronic payments and stuff like that, I do think we need to really do that.
Right.
So,
Linda, do you have an opinion as how you felt about how that meeting went?
I think they were pretty informative and candid about rates. And where we are with everything. It sounds like the D&O coverage is okay for now, but what I'm understanding is that rates are going up now, especially in this pandemic area for a multitude of reasons. So in the era that we are in, if we can hold tight with our coverage limits, we should probably do that. But cyber is important. I agree, Jim. And we will be moving more digitally and we'll have more of a portal with our website also. So, yeah.
There's probably some other things we could do. Phishing training is great for the office staff. It's so easy to get compromised. And once they're compromised, it can be in our system. So some other things we can do once we get that set up. In addition to news and notes, I just want to know if you haven't saw the e-blast or Facebook or multitude of other places, we are going to open the lodge up this Thursday for bar only. We're going to have food trucks. We are asking members or begging members to please follow the COVID guidelines. We will have them posted. We will ask people to wear masks. We will be sanitizing tables, but this opening depends on members helping us comply with this. And Randy, can you have Penny take the COVID guidelines upstairs? I'm not gonna be able to stop in and get them, but we're gonna have those posted. If you have questions on them, ask one of the bartenders. But we do ask you to come out and support the lodge. We're working really hard on getting this up and running. JJ, you have anything to add?
No, I did pick up. I will have an IPA that the members have requested that we'll have on top from Brewery 33. I think it's something that we're really trying. The lager itself, I'll step back. The lager itself is in the process of being brewed. We have the pale ale. We should have the lager. Beginning of November at the latest. But we need. One of the problems is we need to move the beer. Do we have growler sales or something like that? But we have to move the product. People have to support us here. We don't bring it outside the gates, which is maybe something we can look into later on. But right now, we're making the beer, but we have to go through it too. I mean, it's not something that can sit there forever. It's like the other beers that we have that, they have a tendency to get outdated. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we really have to embrace our own brew and have the ability to move it.
How much do we have to go through?
The last pale ale was a 10 barrel, so that's actually 20 kegs. And summertime, we usually go through it. Wintertime might be a little bit slower. But, that's where we have to maybe get creative. We have to do some numbers and see if we can do growler sales. Do we want to sell to the members who have kegerators, sell sixtels and halves? There's a lot of little things we can do. But again, people are asking for the product. We're making the product. But now we have to consume the product.
But how long does that last then?
A pale ale and a lager lasts a lot longer than most beers do. Pale ale is probably similar. A good 5 months is something where you look at the IPAs, which are the ones that go less flavorful as time goes on. But the lagers and the pale ales can last for a while, just so we keep them cold and keep them under pressure.
So we have 5 months to go through.
That's minimum. Lagers and IPAs are 5 months is what you usually do. But that's not to say that after 5 months it goes bad. It's just there are people that can sort of taste the difference.
It's not fresh.
Okay, thanks.
We will have to talk about that, JJ. Maybe we can start pushing growlers at the lodge when the lodge is open for people to carry out with our liquor license. We can carry out growlers, so maybe we can encourage people to fill growlers, take them, have a couple beers here in our lodge, and then take a growler or beer home. Maybe figure out how to best promote that. So
yeah, there's a lot of different ways we can do it, and as time goes by, we can see what we need to do. And I mean, growler specials are somewhat easy.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that before we move on? All right, Randy, you want to go back to request for expenditures?
Okay, my first was the overhead door sales. I did get 3 estimates. The one I don't really care too much for, and it happens to be the lowest one. I talked to this guy, and I questioned what he gave me. So I'll give you what I have. I'll start with the highest one was AE Mills. They're out of Lancaster, which includes 2 steel insulated garage doors and 2 openers for $2,640. The next one is Bronx, and they are out of Carbon Hill at $2,557. One was the cheapest from G&G garage doors, and he gave me a price of 2 steel insulated garage doors at $1,390, and garage door openers run $425. Now, comparing this price, the $1,390 is a good price for the doors, and the $425. I don't think that's for 2 openers. That's just for 1 opener. So he has the best price. I just need to get some clarification from him on openers, because he sent me an email. Basically, the email says, here's the price on the doors, 2 9x7, gray and color, insulated steel both sides, $1,390. Garage door openers run $425 for 7 foot, taxes included. So I've got to just verify that $425 is for 2 openers and not just 1. One of the openers from A&E was $430, and one of the openers from Bronx was $435. So
I'm sure they're at least $400, because they're $200 and you go buy one, and that's not installed.
Right. So that G&G is the cheapest.
Is that including installation?
Yes, absolutely.
For all of them? Okay.
So at $425 times 2, that would be $2,240. So he is the cheapest by about $300.
Right.
I'd like to make a motion.
How often do we open these doors? Do we need door openers on them? It's something we could add later if the necessity's there. I mean, for the next 5-6 months, they won't open at all, will they?
I wouldn't say we're
Yes,
looking at all.
yes, that's because they take the trash down there
Yeah.
and hold the trash down there. So they're probably opened at least a couple times a day.
Well, they're manual now, but they're wooden doors.
Yes, right.
So are they quoting all the same brand and manufacturer?
No, no. Two of them are. The other one is, let's see, two of them are Pro Door. No, the one cheaper guy is Pro Door. The other two are CHI.
Never heard of either one.
What about the openers?
Didn't say what. Let's see. Let me see. Let me look at that. One is LiftMaster, which is the good, and that's a belt drive. Both the other two are LiftMaster belt drives, and I don't know what the brand on the cheaper one is.
Okay.
And just for clarification, again, this is something beyond our maintenance people installing.
Oh no, they can install them.
The garage door openers?
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend they install the garage door. Those are pretty tricky with you need special training tools with those springs. But what we could do is install the garage doors now and then spring have maintenance install the garage door openers over the winter.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
I've done it and I'm not very mechanical. But, so is that the route? Do you want to
garage
about that route? Getting the doors replaced and then in this over the winter we can have the garage door openers replaced or by our maintenance team?
I'm good with that.
Because you can buy Chamberlain garage door openers at the belt drive ones at Menards. I think they're under $200. They're pretty easy to install.
Yeah, I don't think from what I remember, there's not an issue with the height, and that's usually the only issue with garage door openers. The height of the garage where you're going to, drop it from. I've been to some places where it's very, very tight, but there's other places you usually see them hanging from angle iron, which is good. I don't think
I guess my only question is what are we really gaining, right, by waiting on doing the openers and doing it ourselves?
Gaining much by waiting, but doing it ourselves, I think we probably save a couple $100.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe we only need it on the one. We could use the one. The door closest to the course is the one that's used more getting the golf carts in and out. The other one is more of something if you're getting garbage or, it's a little tougher to get all the carts out on that one door. The closer door to the entrance of the clubhouse, the downstairs entrance. The further one is the one that really you'd use more.
That's the one they take the carts in and out of. All right, so somebody want to make a motion either way?
Let's make a motion to go with the 2 garage doors installed by G&G, and we'll hold off on the openers.
Okay, how about colors? You have a preference on colors? I went with a tan color. They didn't have anything green other than a dark green.
No, a tan or gray would probably look okay.
Okay, yeah, he quoted gray.
Any thoughts, Steve? Marty?
No problem, mate. What color you want?
Do we got to go through the architect committee for the color of the door? Sorry, I had to ask.
It's just tan or gray is fine, whatever you think. So we got a motion. Anybody want to second that and be in favor?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right, everybody good? Everybody good with it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Any opposed? All right, Randy.
Okay, doke.
All right. Replacement gate.
Yeah, our check finally came in from Porco, so we really need to get that another gate going. The check was for $2,800. We really need to get another gate going because as of now, that one that they tried to repair, it would work, but it's going to tear up our rollers because of how rough it is. So,
how much was the aluminum gate last time we bought one?
I'm not sure. I don't have. I mean, I've got that information at work. I don't have it here.
I'm pretty sure it was about $3,000. So mostly this is a cash wash. We're just basically replacing what they finally paid for.
Yeah. Yes, it is pretty much.
But they damaged it, right?
Yeah, their truck hit it and they fought us on it. They tried to fix it. We finally threatened them with the legal letter from our attorney, and they finally paid up.
Did we get?
But it sounds like that the $2,800 isn't going to cover the replacement. So why wouldn't we just? Why aren't they going through their insurance company to take care of that?
I think
That's a good question. I don't know. We asked that, never got an answer.
Did we have to get our attorneys involved with it?
Yes.
So we didn't really get 2,800. We got less than 2,800. So we had to pay for the attorney.
We paid our attorney $150 to send that letter out, but it did work. It did get us paid because they tried to come down and say they could fix it. Sent a guy down that kind of did a pretty half repair. So, I mean, I'm happy that we got $2,800 out of it because for a while it looked like we were going to get nothing.
Well, not only that, it's not brand new either. I mean, if it was newer, I could see, probably needing a little bit more. But how old is that gate to begin with when it got hit?
Oh, it wasn't that old at all. It's one of the new aluminum ones.
It's a new aluminum gate. We put aluminum gates on the Bora Hill gate because of how hard it is for maintenance to access that, and if it was cold, slippery weather. So that they were able to change that gate out easier. That's the only one of the 3 or 4 is aluminum.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and start that process, but at the same time, is this something worthy of checking around on price for the gate? I know you're going to get tired of hearing me say this, but it's the mode we're in here to make sure we're getting bids on stuff.
We had done that before, Steve, and everybody else was more expensive than where we're getting it from, and they're charging us the same amount. They're not upcharging any at all.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We do it as long as the additional cost doesn't exceed the 500. If it does, it should come back to us.
I can second that.
500 on top of the 2,800.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good point.
$3,300 total.
I mean, I know the cost of materials has gone up. It's just where we're at today in the world.
Yeah.
So giving a little bit of ease there. We need to have the gate. This will give us a good backup, and maybe Rick and the boys can do a little extra finessing on it over the winter months or something when it's crappy to be outside, and maybe they can polish it up enough. We'll have a good spare sitting on the shelf.
So the gate replacement is something we'll do, right? That's by our guys?
Oh, to try to fix up the old one?
Well, no, to replace the gate.
We have them built.
But then somebody needs to install it.
Our guys install it.
This is actually, Marty, this is for a spare. We have spare gates because people hit them quite often. So we have the spare got put on, and so this is to replace the spare.
Okay.
But yeah, our guys, our maintenance team always replaces them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they've had a lot of experience.
They're pretty good at it.
Well, we're good then.
The steel gates, they have to use the backhoe to set it, where this aluminum gate, a couple guys can carry it and set it.
Okay.
All right, everybody good with that?
Yep.
Rex out there in Cyberland?
Yep, I'm all good.
All right.
Just a quick interjection. You really should run the collar by ACC. I'm looking at the code language right now, and that is something that we are supposed to do. I don't think it'll be burdensome.
That's
but
right.
it needs to occur.
Okay.
You got that, Randy?
Yeah, got
You
it.
might just give Lori, the head of
Yeah.
DCP, the color swaps. I really don't care what color it is, as long as it's not red or purple.
That can be approved.
What?
That can be approved.
No red, no
will do.
copper, no purple, no blue. All right. Security truck tires.
Okay, let's see where I'm at here. All right. I sent you the ones that we found on the internet. That's the way we've been buying them. We take them down to Logan. They'll mount them for $80 for all 4 tires. The ones that were $483 are closeout. That's typically how we've gotten them. They're aggressive mud tires. That's what we've needed in the wintertime. I also got estimates from, let's see, from Cat's Tire in Lancaster. David Kilbarger, our once newer security guard, used to work there, so he got a fairly significant discount. Mounted and balanced and tax was $683.20. And then I got a estimate from Huddles, and those are Kendas. I got a estimate from Huddles. It's Mastercraft Coursers. They were $808 out the door.
So the 483, what is it? That's just delivered. Or is that delivered price?
That's delivered price, yes.
What is
No
it cost
shipping
us
on
to
top
get
of that.
those mounted?
We'd have to take them and get them mounted and balanced.
What does that cost? A tire?
$80.
$80.
$80.35 for all 4.
What are the mileage they got on these last set of tires?
We usually get about 20 to 25.
I think it's time we really need to seriously consider getting away from this type of tire. They're mud and snow. They're very, very soft rubber, and these roads are wearing them down. I understand they think they need an aggressive mud and snow, but I really don't think they need a super mudder off-road tire. We can get a better quality tire.
I'd have to argue that. They have tried just about everything. The all-terrain tires, they just won't get it because they're out and about before maintenance gets here. They're taking people's homes and the all-terrain just won't get around here in the snow. What we did talk about is getting an additional set of rims to put other tires on, but that was voted down there a couple years ago.
Like summer tires and winter tires?
I just think this is crazy, the money we're spending on this for six snowy days a year, 10 or 12, whatever we get. I can't believe the traction is that bad. Ohio State Patrol, law enforcement, fire departments don't run mud and snow aggressive tires, and they're on the roads a long time before anybody else is also.
And they are on flat pavement and not on chip and seal.
We can keep buying $500 tires and buying them 3 times a year, and that's just crazy. I think we can change the quality of the tire. They make good, aggressive all-terrains. I'm looking at a set here right now by Travel Star. They're an aggressive tread. They're not a smooth tread like you see on an SUV. They're $98 a piece. That's including mounting, and that's delivered. And that price is actually out of Walmart, but I can save you another 10% on top of that. And I think they're going to get twice the mileage on those tires.
$98 a tire.
We've been doing this for years, and they've tried everything out there. And unfortunately, the tires that came new on that new Toyota wore out in 8,000 miles.
Well, I don't doubt that. They don't put the best tires on new stuff.
Yeah.
It's up to the membership or to this committee. I'm just telling you what I've reported, the research that I've done. I've talked to them. These tires are soft. They're aggressive. They wear out too quick. And yes, it is the nature of this road. And if it's that bad, maybe we need to back up and look at the fact we're putting them out on a road that's not been plowed and unsafe. Anything pending a life and death situation, I don't see where we need to put them at risk on those roads if they're that bad, that they need this super mud tire.
How many sets of tires do we buy a year?
Probably about 3 sets.
3 sets a year? How many trucks do we have?
We drive
That's mostly the security.
Pardon me?
That's
How
the
many miles?
security truck, right?
Yes.
How many miles a week did you say, Randy? I'm sorry.
About 125 miles a week.
Is that for each of the security trucks, Randy?
The black ones had the same tires on it for 3 years simply because we haven't driven it. But yes, I mean, it was like that when we were driving it by itself. Yes.
Does the black truck have something wrong with it we need to get fixed? The reason it's not
No.
used?
No. It's just a backup truck.
All right. What do you know, Rex? JJ?
I know the terrain is tough around here, but Steve, with your research with the Walmart, they're saying that. What are they saying for the mileage on those tires?
Well, again, you can't.
I understand.
The mileage they quote is highway miles, obviously.
Right.
I'm sure the miles of the trucks they're buying now are probably 40,000 mile, maybe 50s, but I'm guessing probably closer to 40 or under.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I mean, this is a point I was looking at too. Now, buy something that you're getting from somebody instead of the online thing. If you get a tire that they say will work at 30,000 and we wear them out in 15, these things are prorated if you have a local dealer to go back and work with them on this. My thought on the tread of these tires being different was just to increase this mileage and not be spending our members' money buying 3 sets of tires every year. We just need to start looking at some of these things.
Would it hurt us to give it a try at least? I mean, we're saving about $100, which is that a lot? Is that not? And you're saying it'd be through Walmart where they just take the truck down and get it mounted and would be back for the 98 a tire?
Yeah. And I can buy the tires and I can save a little more money than that on those. And again, it's not promoting Walmart. I'm telling you, when you do a search, Walmart comes up when you look for something. But it is local to Logan or Lancaster Service Center, and they're going to stand behind the tires.
Does that include that disposal fee for the other tires, the old ones?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. Let me get into the fine print.
Probably not.
We're probably going to we'll probably pay that at the other place. I don't imagine they take those tires for $20. They don't mount them and take those old tires and dispose of them there either.
Yeah.
Actually, the ones at Cat's Tires, they didn't charge for tire disposal.
What's the tire called, Steve?
I'm looking at a Travel Star EcoPath AT. And again, this is an aggressive tread all-terrain tire, but it's not the super gumbo mudders I ran in the 80s on my 4-wheel drives that they wear off. They're just super, super soft rubber. And these roads are hard on them. And I'd much rather look at if these roads are that horrendous, our guys shouldn't be on them in the first place.
They're pretty. I looked them up.
They don't have a choice. Lots of times they don't have a choice. If there's an emergency, they've got to go where they have to go.
I appreciate that.
If you get all-terrain tires, you're putting our employees at risk. You're putting our security guards at risk.
I don't believe that.
Well, you are. You are.
Just to interject, I have had 2 different sets of tires. When it's winter, I have snow tires. The rest of the year, I have all-terrain. And it's worked out really well for me, and I get along a lot of mileage out of both sets. But that's me. I'm not security.
Well, that's what I suggested, Linda. I suggested that several years ago that we buy another set of rims so we could do that. I mean, so you don't have to take the tires on and off. You just change the rims out, and you can do it really quickly. I mean, you can change 4 rims in a half hour.
Well, yeah. What we ought to think about that in the spring because we could get a harder all-terrain tire to run all summer.
Absolutely.
All right. I mean, I don't think a set of rims would cost that much for at least just one of the trucks, but we could look
I
at
mean,
that
we
in
could-
spring.
I mean, if you get just regular steel rims and just regular steel rims and use them in the wintertime, they'd be pretty cheap. But the
Is it-
magnesium ones, like the ones they have on them, they're about probably $200 a rim.
Well, yeah, if you buy Toyota tires, they're going to be
Right.
expensive.
Right.
So, all right. So, what do you guys want to do?
I don't want to mess with safety, and I don't want to put dollars over safety. I'm going to trust the guys that drive up and down roads in the snow, and they do have to get out and they do have to go. So I am not ready to cut money to end risk of life for that. So I think we buy the tires. I think buying a all-terrain in the summer is good and making the switch, but we can't nickel and dime the safety of our employees. That's where I'm at.
The intention wasn't a nickel dime safety by any means for those that are watching this tomorrow. That was not my intent. It's to wash
I understand we're wanting to save money, but this is.
Well, no, I want to get good service for what we're buying is what I'm looking at. There's no way you're jeopardizing the safety on these tires because there's law enforcement and everybody else is running this style of tire. And yes, they are on gravel roads, and yes, they're going up and down. The tires aren't unsafe.
Those people are driving these hills like we do here. That's why we spend the money on the dump trucks that we have, because a dump truck off the road is not going to work here in Hideaway Hills.
Totally different, but okay. Somebody make a motion.
Rex, you want to make a motion?
I move we stick with and I'm sorry I didn't get all the prices written down, but I say that we go with the mud and snow tire. I think we go with the one that's going to give us the best price with the best service, and I think that was the one that you had was being installed locally. And I'm sorry I don't remember the name of the company.
Cat tires.
There's Cat tires and Lancaster.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, those were $683. The ones we could get off the internet, the cheaper ones, the closeouts were $483.
That would be $563 total with mounting. Then we take it somewhere and get them mounted. So you want to go that route, Rick?
I think that's and Steve is right. When you buy local and they don't last, you can at least get some of that pro rate back.
So you want to stay with the Cat's tires?
I don't have it all in front of me.
Yeah, that was the mid-price one.
Yeah,
it was about $100 more than buying them off the internet.
And that's a Kenda. That's a Kenda tire, which is a good tire.
The one at Cat?
Yeah.
What's the internet tire? I'm sorry.
It's a Thunderer. That's the one that was a closeout. It's called a Thunderer track grip. And then there was an El Dorado that was $531, and then a Federal was $551.
So they might want to check those prices because that's different than what they advertise online right now.
Higher or lower, Steve?
One's higher, one's lower. I'm looking at Simple Tire right now. The Mud Claw Extremes are $121.97 each. Got a second to your motion? I'll second the motion. We need tires on the truck. We need to research this further.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane burning 3 sets of tires a year.
I agree.
So we'll get the mud tires for the winter. Randy, can you start researching some inexpensive rims that look good that we could get some all-terrain tires on?
Yeah.
So we can get those for spring and get those changed out. So we're not running these things to death.
Yeah.
We could get 9 months of the year. We could get by on all-terrain tires.
I agree.
All right.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, everybody
Check salvage yards for rims.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
A salvage yard for rims is a good idea. I mean, you can find them a lot of places. They don't have to look pretty.
Right.
You might even get on Craigslist and search Toyota rims, Tacoma rims. You might pick up a stock set pretty cheap.
Okay.
People buy them. They put on fancy rims. They just put them on Craigslist to get rid of them.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Discussion items. Roads expense $90,000. That's what gets paid out of the 10% new member fee. So we've got $52,000 remaining in the chip and seal account, and we've spent 151 out of approximately what, 180?
That 52 is as of that 52 is what was in QuickBooks. We have purchased asphalt since then that I don't have any bills for yet.
So do you have an estimate how much we have left? We
Yeah,
wanted to carry 20 grand over.
Yeah, it's probably, we haven't spent that much more since then. I mean, I don't think we spent 5,000 since I have this figure.
Okay. So are we going to be able to do any more hot patch? Are we still able to do that with the temperature?
Yeah, we can still do that until they shut the plants down.
Mhm.
Rex, is that the plan to keep that going?
Yes, if he's got time and the temperature's like it has been, and we stay and we stop at that 20,000 or leaving 20 grand in the bank, I'm good.
Yeah.
Keep it up. That's going to prepare us well for next year.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Another discussion item: North Dock parking and fishing area.
Yeah, I had a member call me, said that somebody was parked across from Blankenships, past the canoe racks in the North Park. I personally don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, as long as it's dry and they're not going back there and tearing anything up, I personally don't see anything wrong with that.
Is this North Dock or North Park?
North Park.
Okay, I was confused.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's North Park. I'm sorry.
North
I put
Park.
North Park.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a gravel lane down there, but occasionally I went down, you do see people pulled off, which is not a problem as long as it's not wet. If it gets wet down there, it can tear that up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Is that the only issue is just where people are parking?
Yeah, that was all. That was all.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I was down there the other day and got my kick out because I didn't want to wait to the last minute, and I didn't see anywhere it was tore up. There was one spot that had some water standing in it, but it didn't too bad.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a problem either.
No,
I just thought I'd bring it to you folks.
Thank you.
Anything else? Kayak canoe removal.
November 2nd.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We want to make sure we get it out on multiple media outlets, including at least 2 e-blasts, the club's Facebook page, and we have time to get in. And can we get that into the November Echo?
Yes.
I want people to know that they have to get them out, so that
right.
When we have to move them and we drag them over to the boneyard, they don't act surprised that their canoe's not still in the rack in January.
Right, exactly. Okay.
And it happens every year. I'm dumbfounded the number of kayaks and canoes that seem to multiply.
Right, I am too.
Every year. We build a new rack and they just come out of nowhere.
Right.
Rabbits having little rabbits. But okay, as long as is everyone good with that date?
Yeah.
We typically allow them back in, I think, April 1st.
April 1st. Yeah.
You're allowed to put them back in the racks. But that's just typically how we do it. The reason we went to this is because people were leaving them down there for years, not ever moving them. They were ended up on the ground, ended up in the lake, ended up turning over, becoming full of water. So that's why we started implementing this procedure.
It's good.
Load limits.
Well, back up. I got lake lowering in there to start.
Skip right over that. Sorry.
November 2nd. I assume that's okay. That's what we usually do the 1st of November.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah. What we do
that's about a 1 inch a week.
Yeah.
Process.
Actually, it's 1 inch a day.
1 inch a day.
Actually, 1.7 inches a day is what we're allowed. And that allows for rains and snow melt, that type of thing, as long as it's not more than a foot a day.
Gotcha.
Or a week, I'm sorry.
Foot a week, yeah.
Yeah.
Inch a day,
Yeah.
and it was inch something.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody
All right.
else problem with that?
Nope.
No.
We may want to send out an e-blast that you have to have your boat out of the docks by then.
Yes. Right.
Because we typically just let the docks go down, don't we?
No, we've been disconnecting them.
Disconnecting
Put out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We don't want
People
to
need
take a
to be.
chance.
We'll just need to publish that people need to have their boats out of docks by the end of October.
Right.
So I guess speaking of boats, with the work that's going on that wellhead over in that storage area, right on the old baseball field, is that going to be done before this weekend?
We're hoping so.
Yeah.
There's really no way of knowing what they've gotten into. We've talked to them. They're hoping to have it done by the end of this, before the end of this week, so we can get in there and put the gravel down. All the trailers are moved out now. However, some people have already put their pontoon boats in there. We pushed them on that, and there's really no way of knowing what they're into. But they're still hoping to get them out so we can get the gravel in before the pontoon removal.
Randy, can you put it a note if they're not out of there by noon on Friday? Maybe we can get with Rick and have a plan B. I would still like to have the pontoon removal because Lakes Committee has their people lined up. We might be able to put the boats temporarily along where they maintenance park the trailers in the 2 spots, and then we could move those for them once they're done.
Okay.
That won't allow us to fully put stone down, but it's better than not having their pontoon launch.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Maintenance could move stuff around after they get out. But let's have a contingency plan on Friday so that we don't have to cancel this pontoon launch.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next one was load limits. Load limits, okay, February 1st to April 15th.
That's what it's been normally, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just wanted to verify, see if anybody wanted to change anything.
No, I don't.
Nope.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, I have no knowledge on weight limits.
Yeah.
Packages, enclosed car wash bays.
Yeah, somebody called, suggested that. I said I'd bring it to the committee. I think we'd already talked about something like that. That would mean an extra employee, somebody to monitor that. So I said I'd bring it up.
I got an update for you on that also.
Oh, good.
Well, not a building, unfortunately. Did talk with Eric Boysko, and they've been working out a couple of plans. If you paid attention to Facebook, they kind of put a survey out, which didn't exactly yield all the positiveness that we wanted, but there's been some good comments about the members trying to swallow their pride and try to give kind responses on Facebook, especially when people are trying to do the right things. But anyways, he did pick up some good information. There was actually another group that went out, and they actually looked at volunteers that would be on an as-needed basis when the trucks show up. So as we didn't deter, and again, as a short-term possibility, not saying this is the way it should be, but having a crew of volunteers, they currently have 8 that are available through the week, looking at 2 shift periods, basically 2 to 5 and then 5 to 8. And there's 8 right now committed that they would go down possibly on a will call basis. Trucks show up, somebody at the gate can call them and they can come down and help with the logging and getting the packages sorted. The second piece of that, which is still the dilemma we don't fully understand yet, is we need more room to put the packages. So we need to look at some sort of temporary storage. And I don't know if if we can get a little cargo box or some sort of little portable unit in there. I guess this week will be the test. This is our first COVID-19 Amazon days this week, so we'll see what the influx of packages happens this next week. And then starting there, within a month of that, then we're going to start Black Friday and Christmas and all that stuff. But potentially the volunteers could work, willing to do it on a will call thing, which would help unburden our security from doing that. Second piece too is consideration of, I know we've got a couple shipments lately and they've been so overwhelmed here with other things going on and fall and a lot more people in and out of these nice weekends that, calls really haven't been going out. And kind of as a consideration, do they really need to take the time to call members? When I get a package delivered, I get an email that tells me, I get a text message that tells me. I mean, that's built right in with these shipping services, especially with Amazon. When your package is there.
I will say, Steve, though, sometimes I don't have packages shipped here. I ship them to my work, but sometimes medicine will get sent here and we don't know it's coming. And we'll get a call and we're like, okay, what do we get shipped? And we'll go down and it would be, somebody's medicine shipped. So you don't.
Well, I mean, we could put things into place with that. Obviously, you would know if it's medicine, quite a difference between it and a 28-inch color TV. Or, God forbid, a set of mattress and box springs.
Yeah, it's saying it doesn't. You don't call. No.
Well, until we can get some automation to where we can scan a barcode and send something, it's out there. And again, all these options, we've got great options, but they're all going to cost us money.
Yeah. Right.
This is a short-term, right now fix.
Bay. Yeah, let's talk about the car wash bays. I don't know that there's electric in those. I don't know. I don't remember what the floor looks like.
Bad.
And I don't. I know the roofs. We're going to put a roof on it, but I'm thinking it would cost quite a bit of money to close it and use them, make them usable.
I don't disagree with that. I think you're better off, like Steve said, getting some kind of a cargo container for back behind the guard shack. I mean, one of those pods you could use. I mean, we priced them out before. They weren't terribly expensive.
No, it wasn't a lot more than the shed, which I'm laughing because the shed was supposed to be temporary.
Yeah, I know.
We looked at just putting some cargos, and then we put that shed, and we're like, it's just temporary. We rented it at first,
right?
And eventually bought it. Anyway, my opinion is we get a pods or something to get us through Christmas until we can actually implement a full plan as far as these lockers or another route. But I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea to have members, but the only concern I have with having members in that tight space of security in those pods is now you've got members mixed in with employees in a COVID risk.
Oh, boy, that's a good point there. Yeah.
Well, the idea would possibly, we could fix that. I mean, obviously, we're not exactly 100% on COVID right now anyways, and I think we could do a great job there if it would work out. We need to separate them. They should be in the back room. They shouldn't be in the front. They're going to be there taking the deliveries and sorting them, alphabetically and put them on the shelves. If this works. I mean, it's that or we're going to go through Christmas season. There's no way before Christmas packages get here, we can advertise for another person if we wanted to put another person on. Find that right person and get them in here and get them trained before we need them. And that's the only reason the volunteer thing looks like it could be a viable option.
It could be.
We'd have to put some limitations in place, but
we could put them in the when the trucks show up, have them work in the shed and in the pod, logging the packages, putting them in the shelving, and then they would pass that off to security. They would just have to stay out of the security. My concern is having multiple people in the security office.
Well, there is a door between the shed and the security building.
They could stay pretty much in the shed and in the pod, just work the packages, hand that log off, and then security could start making their calls.
Right.
That would greatly help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, you're looking at a pod or a shipping container?
Either or, something we could rent, have brought in, set down. It's just have to make sure it's waterproof.
Yes, yeah. The shipping containers are usually pretty much waterproof. The pods are, I assume, are very much waterproof, the ones that you see, but I
Yeah,
think they're probably a little bit more than a shipping container for the size.
we could just keep piling sheds. We could just keep piling sheds up there, down there, and
Shantytown. There you
it
go.
just look like a shanty town.
Yeah.
Mobile homes.
I mean,
Well-
Eric's just trying to help us get a solution because we'll know a lot more come next Monday or Tuesday if the packages
Right.
really adjust up.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be the telling thing this week, and it's a short-term fix for a big problem.
Right.
He's just trying to give us something.
right.
Oh, he's doing a great job, Marty.
I think we need to move. I think we need to move on some kind of container. I think we need to move on that right away.
How big of one do we think we need? I'm looking at a website here in Columbus that I could fill the thing out and get an estimate online.
What size are they given?
So the ocean containers, they're 20 foot, 40 foot, 45, and they're all like 8.5 feet high, 8 feet wide.
I think you'd need a longer one than a 20-footer.
Okay. I think we need we can get a domestic one that's 53 feet long.
Oh, that's big.
That's a little much.
That'll cover future use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure would.
There is a 40-footer, so that's the one that's in between. And then they rate them. They rate them on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, then they rate them on the condition, right? There's like one trip / new, cargo worthy, wind and water type, which is I think where we would probably look at. And then there's as is. I don't think we want to go as is because you never know what you get.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to get this and start having shelving brought in. We're gonna have to buy some plastic shelving or build some shelving to put in this thing. So sooner rather than later. So,
All right.
Randy, can you work with Marty and get some pricing and then send it out?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
figure out, talk to Rick and find out, and Rick and Randall, and find out where we can set this thing.
Okay.
You should be able to set it, if we put it long ways, if they can get it in there, just kind of right across where the extra security vehicle sits, kind of put it long ways against that other fence there, couldn't we? Kind of perpendicular to the one that's there, but still leave room to drive in between them for people to pick packages up.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Steve.
I think we want to keep it right there just for the security purpose, I think.
Yeah, we want to
Right.
keep an eye on it and access it, but I think we also, need to think about getting electric in it, so people come down at night to get their package, we can get stuff and get shelving in it. And,
yeah, definitely.
The sooner rather we get this here, the sooner we can start getting it set up.
Okay, Marty, I'll contact you tomorrow and we'll talk about this. Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Good solution. Good.
All right, new computers for the office. So Linda had been talking with the office and they'd indicated that their computers are getting really slow. I know we've kicked that can down the road a couple years. We rebuilt Penny's computer, but I think it's maybe time to do some overall office upgrades, dual monitors, a laptop for the GM, and some upgraded computers.
No, I think it's something that's definitely needed. If things are slowing down with the computers we are now, I think that slows everything else down. We're unfortunately we're so reliable on the computers now. We're relying on computers that you this is one of the ones where you have to spend money to make money, I think.
Yeah, I will say we've had this on the depreciation list for last couple of years. We've kind of kicked it back. One possibility is Linda offered up the board agreeing to use the transfer fund to help pay for some of this. I think what we need to do is approve going to get pricing on stuff. and looking at what we can. Do we have a resource, Randy, to help us? You know, what are good computers to buy? Do we have an outside source that?
Well, we always go to our IT people because they're the ones that has to set them up. They're the ones that build them. They set them up for us. That's who we've gone with in the past.
Okay, so we have somebody we trust to give us a recommendation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to get a pricing quote on at least, do we need 2 new desktops or 1? I know we rebuilt Penny's computer, but do we need to replace that? And then
Well,
a laptop for the GM with a camera.
Yeah.
And at least a dual monitor setup for the 2 office people.
Okay.
We probably ought to just look at replacing Penny's computer, keep it as a backup in case we end up hiring a part-time accountant down the road. We would have it.
That's a great idea there. Yeah.
And then we can see pricing and see what we're dealing with.
Okay. I'll get that started right away.
When you look at dual monitors, look at whether or not they want stands or if they want them on a dual monitor rack. It doesn't cost that much more either way.
All right.
Anybody have any comments or?
We'll also look at operating systems here down the road as we recover too. Running on QuickBooks may not be the best. And again, maybe new GM comes in here in the next couple of months. Maybe there's some experience there on an operating system or something that could make the office staff more efficient and have less headaches even. Something that would be able to report things out good.
Steve, there is a committee, I want to say it's being led by Annie, but that is with Dave Park. I'm getting the names all butchered up. That is looking at like, what do we need for an office technology platform? Because we looked at one before and we just hadn't found a platform. We did find a platform and then I think they went out of business. That would actually run our type community. And it's not an easy task to replace the Access database we have, but I think there is more robust stuff out there. But yeah, we'd have to look at that point, you know, an all-in-one system accounting wise and basically a club management system.
It'll just be handy, I think, if we could improve on something like that. We can actually have breakdown and have your different entities actually have a section in there where they can track things and what they do as far as maintenance, golf course, food service, whoever like that too. So when we go to look at dollars and cents, reports are easy to understand and extract from some of that stuff. And I know we've had members and volunteers step up before with some ideas on some of that, but we've never followed through on anything. And it is a pretty big financial venture when you're starting to buy software packages and things too. I know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it will make us better and more efficient, I think.
Yeah, we are. I will tell you, Randy, we definitely want to get 2 desktops. We are talking about having a part-time person come in just as a transition when we get the new GM on board. So that to help backfill Penny, because she'll be working so much with the new GM, trying to help get them up to speed as well as yourself. So I definitely think you need to look at two full desktops, a laptop with a camera, and then the monitors.
Okay.
And the dock for the laptop.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. One item not on the list, but very important. We just didn't get to it on the list, but Rex would like to give an update on Lake Eagle Claw. I thank Rex for taking this on to something that's coming up pretty quickly, but he did send out a pretty detailed analysis. So Rex, you want to take it from here?
Sure. And as y'all remember, this started a few months ago when a member came to request that we look at increasing the height of the overflow tube at Eagle Claw. It had been lowered a few years ago, and because of that lowering, the lake levels have dropped this year, but I think they may drop at any point, and it has been pretty low this year, and I haven't checked what the rain has been, but it's I don't think it's been an abnormally dry year. There's been some dry stretches, so that started the discussion of, well, we have a dam inspection coming up every 5 years. The last one was done in 2017, so we have another one approaching. The dam, the 2017 inspection had some items that the state, depends on how you read it. Some read them as suggestions and some read them as demands. And so we wanted to have Lindsay, our dam engineer, look at our earth and dam engineer, look at those and let us know what she thought about the report and what we need to be looking at, so we don't get here at the next inspection and find out we've got an oops moment. So she reviewed everything and says that ODNR is going to be focused on 4 major items. One is the seepage inspection. If you remember from the dam report, it was the seepage it's been seeping since the day it was built. It is not major. It is the seepage seems to be, well, it changes with the level of the lake, but as the lake level changes, if the lake's at a certain level, the seepage seems to be that same amount for the last many, many years. And so it's not a huge concern. It's a concern that if we don't watch for it, or that if we start seeing the water turning silty or dirt or clay, and if we don't just pay attention. So the seepage inspections is the one thing. There's an approved operations inspection manual that we need to get completed, and they want an installation of an emergency lake drain, and then they do want us to, at that time they didn't require it, but they said we need to be really thinking about rebuilding, relining, or replacing the emergency spillway overflow pipe. So I kind of touched on all 3 of these. And the one, the seepage inspection is we're required in that report to take a measurement every 2 weeks. And Randy, have we been doing that? And do we have those logged?
No.
Okay.
Not every 2 weeks. No.
Do we have our inspections logged?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Can you get me a copy of that? And then I think we need to determine a way to increase that logging. And the other thing she suggested is that if we put what are called monitoring weir boxes at those locations, that will help us. It will do 2 things. It will help us measure the flow, and it will show the state that we're serious about measuring the flow. They have already done the work of designing the locations and the boxes, and
Right.
according to, I'm sorry?
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. And according to Lindsay, Rick built a similar weir for Lake of Four Seasons. So it's a, they just need to look at the plans, kind of review it. It's been a while. They get to blow the dust off, and then we can get those built. And really, it's one of those things where you're spending money to show good faith. So hopefully, you don't have to spend a lot of money down the line. But it is something that our guys can do.
Right.
So that's the seepage part of it. So I recommend that we make sure we're getting those measurements taken. We do what we can to build the weirs to make it better, or make the measurements more accurate, and to show good faith, and then and move forward with that part of it. So any questions on the seepage?
How many of these weir boxes do we need?
She wasn't sure. She was more than 2. She was thinking it was 4. There's they usually put them kind of in the corners, but there may be 4, there may be 6, and until she takes the time to look at the old plans and what they had. She didn't know.
Okay.
So, do we know, are there, from the inspections, are there clear places where the water's percolating out?
Yes, it appears that there's some sinkholes that are causing it, and the areas seem to be consistent.
And I guess just along those lines, I went around a couple weekends ago trying to get out to the dam on Eagle Claw, just to kind of look around and see what was there. Is there an access to get through there without having to go onto anybody's property?
No,
There's no access to the dam?
it's across the member's property. We do have a written agreement with him that we are allowed to access the dam across his property as long as we maintain that road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that from the east or west, Randy?
It would be from the east.
From the east. That's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because it's
pretty steep.
that big driveway there. Yeah.
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 Okay. Thanks.
So what I'd like to do is give Lindsay their rate for engineering is 140 an hour. I said, I just kind of put it into her. I said, you can do this for much less than 10 hours. And she said, oh, yes. So I think we need to give them the go ahead to go through the drawings, make any adjustments, come out, take a look again, keep it at 10 hours or less, and give us an idea on those. Give us the plans, talk to Rick about, what he needs to know to build those, and let us get started on that. And, and I don't know if winter's the best time because you're frozen, so it's not good, but maybe there's less mud. You definitely don't want to do it in the spring. So it might take us 6 months to get this done depending on weather and time, but so we can go through it. But that's my recommendation on that, is we spend a little bit of money to get the plans going, and then we can get an estimate of what it's going to cost. The next thing is the draft, and I don't know why they call it an OMI, because it's an operations inspection.
It's an operations maintenance inspection.
Maintenance inspection, but yeah, she keeps calling it an OIM. Anyway,
OMI.
I don't know why the draft. Why haven't we done the final, Randy? Is there something keeping us from doing that?
Just time. I think just time.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can let me, is that electronic? I hope that you can send me a copy of that.
I don't, boy.
I don't think she has it.
Don't think so. I've got copies. I mean, it seems like they change it all the time. I don't think I have that electronically.
Okay. Well, you can scan it, I guess, but
yeah,
we need to. That was quite evident in the report that
right.
We have it, and we need to get the final. And the other thing is I guess with that and our emergency plan, I don't know what the dam license costs, but we get a 10% discount. I don't know if that's worth pushing it through, but yeah, that's.
Rex, have you talked to Rick?
No, I have not. I just got this done this afternoon.
He's got some of these maintenance, at least what he told me when I talked to him here the last time on this. So I'm glad you were able to take this over and get that far with it. But you might want to check with him because, it would just be worthwhile for you to have a talk with him.
Yeah, I certainly will.
He may not have everything up to it, but I don't know that we have an empty file cabinet drawer either. I know he's been doing the inspections of some nature, and as far as documentation, it would just be pencil and paper. So
sure.
But check with
that's
him.
Fine, as long as
he can tell you what he's been doing.
Right. Yeah, Rick's got all that information. Yes.
Okay, I will do so. The next thing, and those were the top two things that she said that we had to do now to keep from really triggering additional problems from ODNR. The next thing was maybe not immediately, but we needed to show progress on it. And ODNR requires that our dam have an emergency drain system that can drain the lake by 1 foot per week or 2 inches per day and do that safely. So when I calculate what the level of the lake would be when I thought they would trigger that, you've got about 13.3 acres of area. That 1 foot deep means you've got to move 4.3 million gallon in a week, which sounds like a whole bunch of water, but I triple checked. And Marty, I know you're an engineer. I'd like you to look at my numbers and go back through. As you work that through, drawing that down 2 inches a day, it kind of gets better, and it kind of comes into about 500 gallon per minute. The good thing is we don't need to have to build a fancy spillway with a gate valve and all that good stuff. We can use a pump to do that. So we could purchase a trailer mounted diesel engine pump, get them used all over the place because they use them in construction all the time. You can't rent. You have to have it in place. You have to have a plan to implement it. When the state says you need to lower the water now, you need to go, yes, sir, and you fire up the pump and you go to work. But I mean, that is so much better than having to build a construction project.
Hey Rex, a question.
Yeah.
When we were doing the Lake of the Four Seasons, Igo brought down they had a tractor with a pump mounted onto the PTO takeoff. And basically it was like an emergency system. So if something went wrong, and they said they could probably, I mean, it was pretty good sized tractor to run this thing, but they said they could drain the lake in like some stupid short time with this pump. And I don't think we need anything that big, but
yeah.
Are you able to get these pumps that you can mount on a PTO and you could just back it down there and hook it up and go with it?
I've seen those too. Yeah, we could probably do that. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder if that would be cheaper.
Yeah.
To go with a system like that where you could quickly put it on one of our tractors, back it down the hill, throw the hoses on and fire it up, and away you go.
Yep. And that I like that because you're using those tractors daily, and
yeah,
the worst thing is having anything sit for year after year and never using it. So yeah, that's really good. That's a good thought.
You could just put maintenance on, every 6 months you need to go test the pump some pond water, make sure it still works, and document that. But that's another option. I just was thinking, because that's what I had to do that during the dam. They basically set that tractor down there and left it as an emergency procedure in case they would have to drain the lake.
Yep. Yes, that's really good.
Yep. Yeah, we ought to look at the specs of those and see what one would cost. It can't be more than a couple grand.
No.
All right.
So I was really pleased with that information. So the next thing is, the emergency spillway, and so I think that we need to, and maybe we got a quote when we did the work on the other lakes. We did some work on those spillways, but I think we need to be ready at least when the state comes around the next time that we go, oh yeah, we've got a quote. Here it is. We're ready to pull the trigger. We just were waiting on you. So I think on those next things, we can push that out a couple of years. I don't think we need to spend that on the relining or the replacement of that pipe, but we sure ought to get a quote on that. So Randy, did we get a quote on it before or when we did the other work on the other lakes, or did we not worry about it?
No, we never have. Now,
okay.
Are you talking about the principal spillway pipe, or are you talking about the emergency?
I'm sorry, the principal
overflow.
The principal spillway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's the one we cut off. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And I can imagine it's a metal pipe. I can imagine it's the same shape as the others.
Yes.
That we had to reline last year.
That's what they're assuming, and that's what they're asking for. So yeah, and as long as it's in good enough shape to reline, we can probably do that. So as we go through all that, though, that's the things for the ODNR report and what we need to do to get ready for the next inspection. So after that, we talked about the pipe that was cut off. And she says as long as that, oh, and I got rid of the report. So the level of that spillway pipe should be at 845 feet sea level, which is the top of the dam is supposed to be 853.6. So it's supposed to be about 8.6 below the top of the dam. And she says if we stay at that 845, there's no problem. The dam has been inspected. The calculations have been run using that spillway height and even a little more in case of a flood. And so she says we have no reason not to go back to that height. What I propose that we do is I would like to get, and just so we're covered, I'd like to have 2 LMN come out with a couple survey guys, get in, number one, check the top of dam just to, make sure that 853.6 is somewhat close, and get a shot exactly on the top of the spillway that it is now. Because, I know we think we cut 30 inches off, but I don't know if we know exactly. We don't know that if it was correct when we cut it off. And I think it's really important that I think it's okay to go back to that level. But I think we need to know exactly what that level is. And so is that 30 inches? Is it 20 inches? What is it? So that we don't go over that 845. And that cost of that 2 guys for 4 hours or less, I don't think that's going to be a big deal. So that's kind of where I'm at. And like I said, I'm at the bottom. I'm not an expert on this, so would love somebody to run the numbers a little bit, but that's kind of where we are.
Well, I think you're talking to the experts with our civil engineers. That's why we hire them, and they don't work for cheap, but they are worth it. So I think we need to have a motion to get the 2 things done on the OMI, or get the OMI and have them design the seepage weir boxes and the come out and survey the dam. I think those 2 things need to be done soon.
Yes.
So that we can start getting ready for this next dam inspection. I don't want to get caught with our pants down when the ODNR comes back out next year.
No, I agree.
I would
What
like
do you
to
got
make
there,
that
Marty?
motion.
What do you got there, Marty? The engineer had your engineer's brain spinning.
Yeah, I was just going through the map on what Rex was looking at, and I was thinking about all this. I think you guys are right. We need to kind of get the weir plates and that going.
Yeah, if we could get the weir boxes, that would be something maintenance could have some time to work on, get them built, and then find out like when the optimal time is to place them. Is it middle of summer? I don't know the answer to that, but and it's going to take a while to figure out how to place these things and how you use them. But I think we can show evidence that we're moving forward on this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from experience, I put in some weir plates on a hydroelectric project a number of years ago. But we weren't all that scientific in it, right? We found out where the water was coming through. We dug a hole, and we actually cut the plates ourselves with a torch and, measured them off. And they worked pretty well. They just kind of give you a gauge of how much water you were passing through a given point. So there's not, there is some science to it, but there's some art.
All right. So anybody have any, want to make a motion about the 2 items, getting LMN in here to get started?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to get the engineering company started, working them in.
Rex?
That's great, and I second that.
Okay.
I'm good.
JJ, you good? Steve?
Good.
I'm good. Okay. Randy, would who could be the best to start looking at like a tractor mounted pump system, just so we have an idea what that would cost? Is that something Rick can do, or Elmer? Or...
I'll talk to Rick about it. I don't know if he knows anything about it or not, but I'll talk to him about it. I've got that written down here.
Tell him it was similar to the one it's probably smaller than the one they had, Igo had here, but I'm sure Rick will understand what you're talking about.
He'll know.
Okay.
We just need a minimum 500 gallon per minute, which is not that big.
All right, I'll write that down.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the dam? And then I want to divert back to member Stephanie Wolf. She had a couple comments, questions.
Good.
Okay. We're good with the dam, Eagle Claw. Stephanie, what comments, questions did you have?
Hi, first I would just like to address the board and or the management committee, sorry.
Okay.
And thank you guys for all your dedication and time to Hideaway Hills. Your time is generous, and even though social media is full of lots of complaints, there are many members like myself who deeply appreciate your time, commitment, and effort to Hideaway.
Thank you.
So with regards to the meeting tonight, I just wanted to address a few things. There was mention tonight of someone being hired as a transition person to help the new GM. And as a member, I would just like to suggest that Penny from our office, who I'm pretty sure that her title is Assistant General Manager. Am I wrong about that? Anybody?
No, that's correct. That's correct.
I would just like to make a suggestion on the membership behalf that maybe she be the person that helps transition the new GM, since she is so familiar with the management of Hideaway and a lot of the things, like working with all the different committees and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think our intention is that she will be working more with the new GM to help transition. So we'll backfill to give her some help. Was the intention? She will be the primary. Randy and her will be the primary person transitioning the new GM in. So we'll probably just hire somebody on a temporary basis to basically backfill some of Penny's duties. But yes, Penny will be the primary.
Is the intent of the management to hire someone like outside of the hills without, management in the hills experience to transition the new GM?
No. Penny will be the person doing the primary transitioning of the new GM. Penny and Randy, till Randy retires.
Okay, so maybe I misunderstood. So is it the intent of management to offer a proposal that someone else be hired as an additional office staff while the new GM is being trained and is transitioning?
Yes.
Part-time.
Part-time.
Part-time, probably on a temporary basis. Yes.
Okay. And so what is the thought behind that Randy and Penny couldn't get that job done? And why someone extra has to be hired?
Well, because Penny's schedule is really, really full as it is right now. So taking her away from that is going to be almost impossible without having somebody else to help her out with what she does. I mean, anytime you try to train somebody, it takes away from your regular job duties. And she is just packed full with job duties, believe me.
We're not taking a lot of hours, Stephanie, just someone to help give Penny some support during this transition period so that she can devote time to the new GM and really help train him or her correctly.
Okay, I just on behalf of Penny and a loyal employee, and with her job title being assistant general manager, I just would like to suggest that, maybe someone can take over more of her responsibilities. And because she has so much experience and knowledge, that she might be the person to really transition without hiring somebody new who doesn't know all of the ins and outs of Hideaway. So with that, I'd like to move on to the dam deficit. Hold on, I wrote a few notes down. I've been trying to follow some of the dam deficit and our financial solvency. I'm unclear who exactly is doing the reconciliation of the dam account. Is it all of you, or is one person in charge of that?
The reconciliation that was done from what the members were assessed to what we actually spent was done by myself, and then shared with every member of the management committee and the board. Penny provided all the information to me, and I just kind of took it and put it together and do a reconciliation of the loan and the member assessment, and then actually what we spent.
Okay, and when, I just want to be clear about this too. So when Penny gave you that information, that was in April of 2020, before the vote for the increase in assessments, correct?
No.
Okay.
That information I requested from her in August of 2019 or 20, around the time of after the first management meeting. We didn't actually get the final answer until after the vote. I was focused on the assessment increase. What Penny provided to me in April of 2019, she sent me an email and just said, here's a balance on the loan, here's the balance in the account, and here's the balance left to collect. I think we're short. And that's what I never followed up on that.
And so that initial email was in April of 2019 that you never followed up on?
Correct.
Okay. So when will the membership know the final calculation of the deficit? When will we be presented with that information?
I thought we made that public in a video of the actual final numbers. The 257 is the amount I think it was 267 with interest was the amount we were short paying off the loan.
Okay, so is that, so I've read, I'm sorry, I didn't see that video presented to the membership, but I have read, the August and the October echoes, and I did not see the calculations in there. So what is the total amount with the interest that is the deficit?
I believe the number was $267,000 that we were short with interest. Now, the board, with what I presented at the board meeting, we have made steps to take additional funds from the additional funds from the new member fees that are now capped, and we have made approximately $70,000 of additional principal payments, so we have knocked that down, and that was based on some recommendations management committee made to the board. Bear with me, I'm trying to pull this up.
Thank you, I appreciate the effort. I'm so sorry, because I want to apologize, because I think that it probably was presented in the board meeting, but if it was the last board meeting, it was nearly impossible to follow as far as sound, at least for me. Gotcha. Maybe somebody with a more fancier computer could follow it.
So we were the amount short of paying with full paying out the full payments, amount short. We were about $267,000 short.
And is that short of what we owe the bank, or did Hideaway pay that out of our reserves, and so we need to reconcile, say, our emergency funds or our reserve accounts.
No, that's what we're short of being able to pay the loan off based on what we have left to collect from the membership, from the assessment, and from the cash we have in the dam assessment account and the popular loan account.
So when you say that we are short that money, that's like what we still owe the bank minus what we already have in our accounts to cover it. What's
Plus the
that total
receivable.
amount then?
267.
Okay. So
we've got three pieces of this. We've got
Okay.
money left to collect from the membership, from the assessment. We have money in our checking account that we've collected from members, and then we have $100 and some thousand at Popular Bank of Popular that we have in a like a trust account. You combine all three of those compared to what's the loan balance, and we were 267 short in August.
So when I hear you say that there's money from checks in the account, so when the money's collected for the payments for the month, how long is it sitting in our accounts before those payments are made?
Well, as we collect the money, we just put it into a checking account, and then we were making the normal monthly payments on the account. That's how we realized that we were getting short, as that account was getting low. Now, I will say we had not made after we made the loan permanent, we did pay off $600,000 of the loan because we had collected so much additional money. Now, we'd been making the regular monthly payment. We had not made any additional principal payments based on the amount of cash we had in the account. But we had made one big principal payment of $600,000 a couple of years ago. But I can't exactly remember when it was, but we did not make additional principal payments. We are now making additional principal payments based on the direction of the board. We're taking money from the new member fees that are not going to the amenities, and we're paying it onto the loan to knock that principal down.
So I would just like to express as a member my concern about Hideaway's financial solvency and our financial health at this point. And I'm sure that if I have these concerns, that many of the membership do, especially with knowing that this information was available and not presented to the membership before the vote. So I think my biggest concern is, so when we're looking at an underfunded emergency accounts, and when we're looking at needing to spend a lot of money on, our infrastructure, roads and lakes, I'm just curious about where that money's coming from, and then what the plan is to reconcile those accounts, and if there's a budget created for that, and if the members will be presented with a plan for that, a financial plan for that.
Well, I can. We do an annual budget for the club, and part of that is the roads and roads in our operating budget. We have been in talks with. We currently use an outside accountant to do some accounting work. It's a very limited amount on a monthly basis. Board President Linda Lansinger and some of the office staff, and we're working with trying to find an accountant to do a little more services, to do some outside reconciliation. Hindsight, we haven't ever done a dam assessment account of this size, assessment account of this size. Prior to that, we did a small assessment for the silt trap. So hindsight, yeah, there should have been some better financial oversight. There was no money misspent out of that account. There was just additional engineering cost and there was a lot of additional engineering and project management costs that we didn't account for in the initial estimate of the cost, and it overran the budget. I'm not sure I answered your question, but
Well, you segued into my next question, or really appeal to the management and the board at large. And that would be, has the board and the management considered a third party audit of Hideaway's finances so that transparency and trust can be created between the membership and management and the board, as well as having a third party who isn't involved doing the auditing and the accounting, so that we can truly know and have a really good picture of where we are and have a plan of how to fix it and how to get Hideaway back to a place where we're financially solvent and financially healthy.
So I'm going to go ahead and take part of this.
Thank you, Linda.
So in terms of accounting, we want to have more accounting services, because right now we have very limited accounting services and they aren't horribly responsive, but you kind of get what you pay for. So you go on the cheap and that's what you get. So we're going to try to do better. I'm sure this person is a good person, but I think we need a little more. Don't you agree? And then
the services that, budgets were tight. We didn't want to pay a lot for additional accounting services. Hindsight.
I know. I get that, but I'm going to continue on. Let me finish. So in terms of an audit, we have every intention of doing an audit. And whoever does the audit won't be someone who's done the audit previously, by the way, and won't be someone that's connected with the accountant or anyone here necessarily. So we want a true third-party audit, and we will do that intermittently as industry standards suggest. And I don't know what that is. I have to find it out. But part of the rationale has always been, since we knew there was an overrun with the dam assessment account, was to have better accounting procedures, as well as looking at our office procedures and having someone who is a professional guide us. Because at the end of the day, we have a little staff and a lot of the work is done solely by volunteers. So
thank you. I would just like to state again, thank you so much to the management. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'll address any further issues I have via email. And I would just like to say, as a member who's very invested in my community and our financial health and solvency, I would very much like to see that third party audit and accounting service perhaps be a service that specializes in planned communities or HOAs and has that specialized service to be able to look at that. And I just want to thank all of you for your time and your dialogue with me tonight and answering these really tough questions. And I just want to reiterate, thank you for all your time and service. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Miss Stephanie.
Thanks, Stephanie.
All right. With that, we're going to end the recording.